It might be 1914.
How are you?
Yes, this is fun.
Can I get in there?
You really got the white out. So this one is the traffic and data.
Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, May 26th, 2026 meeting of the Martinsville Common Council. Meeting is hereby called to order. This time I would like to invite Pastor Rick Bailey from Liberty Christian Church to come forward to offer tonight's invocation. So if you would please stand and then remain standing for a pledge of allegiance.
So tonight, as I pray for the council, I wanted to include the youth and the violence that we've seen here recently. I have teenagers, and so in our prayer, I'm going to pray for the youth as well. So, Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight to acknowledge that you are the source of all wisdom, order, and life. And we recognize your throne is established in righteousness and justice, and we invite your presence and your holy influence into this chamber. We ask that your will be done in our city, and not just in the policies we discuss or the decisions made here, but in the hearts of people who call Martinsville home. And we humbly ask that you guide the minds of this council tonight, granting them clarity, compassion, and a spirit of unity as they serve our community. And Father, our hearts are heavy regarding the recent violence involving our youth. And we grieve the loss and the safety of the brokenness that would lead a young person to believe that gun violence is an option. And we lift up the youth of Martinsville to you We pray that you would break the chains of hopelessness, anger, and confusion that cloud their hearts. We ask that you replace those feelings with a vision of purpose and a deep respect for the sanctity of life and the knowledge that they are made in your image. And Holy Spirit, we invite you to move through our schools, our homes, and our streets and bring conviction where there is darkness and bring healing where there is hurt. We pray for our families, our law enforcement, and our leaders, and may all be empowered to build a culture where youth are nurtured, protected, and guided toward goodness rather than violence. And we submit our plans tonight and our desires to your sovereign will, and believing that you are the only one who can transform a city. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts be pleasing in your sight, our rock and our redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen.
At this time, Mrs. Williams, will you please call roll?
John Badger,
Present.
Jonathan Collier,
Present.
Bill Decker II,
Present.
Josh Farron, Susie Lips,
Present.
Ben Mahan,
Present.
Ann Miller.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Prior to tonight's meeting, you each received minutes from the Monday, May 11th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I move we accept the minutes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented this evening. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Likewise, you were given copies of the claims to review prior to tonight's meeting. Are there any comments regarding any of the claims?
I make a motion, we approve the claims as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the claims as presented this evening. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion carries. This time, I would like to ask Police Chief Ryan Manley to come forward.
Good evening, Council. It's our second year doing this. We have a nomination at the Police Department. Chief Lang started it last year for an Officer of the Year. We tasked the supervisors with selecting and nominating one individual from their shift they believe is the Martinsville Officer of the Year. This can go on stats, it can go on based on how they interact, it can go on accolades, it can go on training. So we're here tonight to publicly announce our 2025 Officer of the Year. Again, this is our second year doing this. It's a rigorous process. The individual that was nominated tonight, or that is going to be recognized tonight, was actually nominated by 2 shift supervisors. This individual worked on 2 different shifts throughout 2025, and when we asked for the nominations, his name came up twice. And actually, both sergeants used almost the exact same verbiage. They noted that this officer was extremely professional, exceptionally courteous, and relentlessly proactive. Things that you want to hear about our police department, right? So I'd like to bring up Officer Joseph Musgrove. Come up here, Joe. You've been selected as the Martinsville Police Department 2025. Joe's been in law enforcement for, I believe, 6 years. He's a true leader on the street. That's good. Thank you. No matter how tough the shift, whatever he faces, he's always got a smile on his face. He's always trying to make others around him lift their spirits. So we're very appreciative of Joe's personality. He sets a phenomenal example on how we expect our officers to treat not only the public, but each other. We're proud to have him here. Family here with us, Joe?
My wife's here.
Hello. Thank you to you. Thank you for sharing Joe with us. I know from my personal experience with my wife, there's a lot of worry, a lot of fear a lot of unknowns, and a lot of missed holidays, dinners, those types of things. So we appreciate you sharing Joe with us. Thank you. Lastly, Joe, we'd like to thank you for your dedication and your positive spirit as you represent our core values every day. On behalf of the department and the city of Martinsville, I'd like to congratulate you on making the Officer of the Year for 2025 for our department. You're welcome.
Congratulations. We need to conduct a public hearing this evening, so therefore, without objection, the council will be in recess for the purpose of conducting a public hearing. The public hearing is on ordinance 2026-1915, amendment to chapter 78, vehicle stopping, standing, and parking. So at this time, Mr. Coffey.
Thank you. This is a public hearing on ordinance 2026-1915. I'm going to bring up the Deputy Police Chief, Mr. Brown, this evening to discuss how this came about, why we're here tonight, to ask you to amend the municipal code to add section 78-184 in regards to parking.
Thank you. If I talk too much, let me know. This was a work in progress. We've been working very closely with Mr. Dale Coffey and Judge Bill here. But I got to give credit to Sergeant Phil Hammonds. He's helped us out a ton as well with this. And this kind of started off actually by accident. So we ended up writing a city ordinance violation to somebody, and I think we all realized when we wrote that, we didn't know where that citation went. We didn't know how it was supposed to be handled, how it was supposed to be paid, which presented a problem. We know that city ordinance violations are important to the city to make sure that we're held accountable, and we just didn't have a way to do that. So when we walked through it, we realized that not only our ticket books for city ordinances was outdated, the prices were outdated, it didn't reflect the proper city ordinances that were updated when the city did it. So we were behind, and we knew that it was something that we were having a problem with and we needed to solve. So we took it upon ourselves to break it down, and it seemed like we joke about it. Every single problem that we solved, there was 2 other problems that we had created, or we realized that there was problems that we had to fix, down to how we write our tickets and how the court receives them. So what we did, and I can pass this out, I only have 1 copy, but we ended up reaching out to somebody after we got it all organized, and we found a way to keep things very simple in writing these city ordinance violations, along with making sure that it's easily paid. And also, most of the stuff that's on these city ordinances, what we need to take in consideration, I'll talk about it a little bit more, is a lot of these are IC codes or state violations that we can write. I know myself and Chief Manley here talks about it. We hate citing people $150 ticket for a parking violation, or something that we feel we wouldn't be okay with paying. I know we would be okay, but $150 ticket will impact a lot of lives and may not turn the lights on. Okay, so now that doesn't mean that we can't hold people accountable. So this is the solution to that. Okay, are you guys okay with if I pass this around so you guys can look at it? Now this is just a rough copy of it. We still have some edits that we found when we received it, but it'll show pricing, which is exact reflection of what our current ordinances is. And so during that, we realized that the 2 biggest ordinance violations that we would write were either we needed to modify them or they weren't in our current city ordinance. So that's what I'm here today to kind of present and to talk about. One of the biggest ones was parking on sidewalks. The city has spent a significant amount of money installing and improving sidewalks throughout the city, and we need to ensure these sidewalks last as long as possible. I know Mr. McDonough here is taking that to heart, and we appreciate it. And the mayor, it's looking great. The sidewalks are intended to provide a safe walking path for pedestrians, children, and individuals with disabilities. Vehicles parking on sidewalks creates a safety hazard. How? It forces pedestrians to walk in the road, to walk around these cars. It can cause permanent damage to the concrete. These sidewalks aren't meant for vehicle traffic. It also increases enforcement for these sidewalk parking violations. It will help protect the pedestrians safely, but it'll also make sure that we're not writing a $150 ticket to these guys that are parking on sidewalks. Another one that we wanted to incorporate or modify is parking against the flow of traffic. That's come up here recently with a lot of the businesses. Vehicles parked against the flow of traffic are also creating unnecessary safety concerns for both pedestrians and drivers. Visibility issues and vehicles pulling improperly into traffic also increases the risk of accidents when roads are unsafe. Addressing these violations, amending or adding, will help improve overall traffic flow and public safety throughout the city. Something I touched on earlier is when appropriate, the officers are going to be encouraged to utilize these city ordinances as enforcement instead of the IC $150 tickets. And why is that? It's a lower fee for the citizens. It simplifies enforcement processing for officers. And then one of the bigger ones too is the revenue remains in the city rather than it goes to the state. We used to kind of joke around that we would write a $150 ticket and see $3 of it. I don't know that exact amount now, but if we do a city ordinance violation, it's cheaper for the individual receiving it, it's easier for the officers, and we as a city also see that money a lot more. And then it also improves local accountability and compliance. Again, the new ticket book that's being passed around, that's a final draft. It hasn't been approved yet. Simplifies citation issuance, makes payment processing easier for recipients, reduces confusion on how to pay it, because we have all that outlined, and then also allows officers to issue citations without needing a computer. As it stands now, we have to have a computer to issue any citation, so we can't just walk the square and find parking problems. We have to drive up, cause a traffic issue, write a citation, and then go from there. These changes are intended to create a more efficient and user-friendly process while continuing to promote public safety and protect the city's infrastructure. You guys have any questions about anything in regards to the ticket book or the process that we worked on or any of the additions that we have?
It brings a smile to my face. I see you've kind of done with the prosecutor's office, the criminal law book, our most common laws enforced in Morgan County. They put that together for the officers. Yeah. This is the common citations that we use. This replaces the old blue book. And so I would say from the old dog stance, this would be good to get out on our website and to make some public announcements on it, because I can take you back to, it was about 38 years ago when we decided to enforce that parking on the sidewalk and parking in the wrong direction. And that little blue book, if I'm not mistaken, it's a $3 fine. So it was a great way to catch their attention, not give them the state fine. Yeah. And so when they issued that order out that night, we had an officer that was upset about it, and he went through that evening and wrote out 3 ticket books fulls. And the mayor's office got quite the phone calls the next morning, and there were several people that brought in 300 pennies to put in that little envelope to pay that ticket. Yeah. So it's great. This is got, because I see your city ordinances, the violations, the vaping and everything on there that takes care of everything, and it's awesome. I like it. But like I said, I just put your public service announcements out there and let people know that it's coming, and good job, because that's one of our issues. The city administrations, the last several have invested, especially this administration, on the sidewalks, and people don't understand that the sidewalks are not made for the depth of parking like a driveway, and it's easily to damage them with the vehicles. So I'm glad to see this.
Good. Yeah, and we appreciate it. We couldn't have done it without the names that Nate mentioned earlier. Yeah, it's we still have some work to do. I was talking to the clerk, and he said that I think there's going to be some adjustments to the city website. Our goal, once we get this established as well, which I didn't mention, is to make the ability to pay online too. So what they'll be able to do is they'll just be able to type in that city, or the UTT number is what we would call it. You type that in, it'll be inputted, and then you could just pay online. So I know from experience, in the past when we wrote them, we wrote about 60% of them would pay. So we're hoping that, that number would go up with ease, and then obviously we're trying to make it a little easier for everybody to deal with, so.
I have a quick question. So the golf carts, is that just on the sidewalk, or is that?
It's a good question. So that's only so big, right? So there's probably 10 to 12 different golf cart violations that could be citable, or, there's rules that we have to go on. So the best way that we did, or the best way to do this is we left, there's a number or a line underneath that, and that section there, what officers are going to be responsible for is if it was a golf cart violation, they need to check golf cart, and then they need to make sure, for the simplicity when it goes to court, that number is matching specifically what that golf cart violation was, whether that's traveling on the wrong road, right? So that number will be written on the ticket, so they know exactly what it is. And then there's also a little section for a description, just a brief description of, not insured, or wrong road, or not stopping, whatever. It can be all written on that citation. We just try to simplify it the best we could on there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What are the rules and regulations for golf carts?
Oh goodness, there's so many, and I'll have to look it up on the city
Okay.
ordinance. There's a lot of them.
Okay.
Mac, they're on our website, aren't they?
Yes,
City
yeah.
website.
If you go to our city ordinances, type in golf cart, it'll pull everything within any golf cart.
Yeah. Very easily accessible. They've made it great to where it's one of the first tabs you can click on, and it pops right up. Very accessible.
Can we make sure the United States Postal Service gets a copy of?
I want to plead the fifth on that one.
I'm sorry.
No, that's perfect.
I'm sorry.
I'll say, any other questions?
Yeah, just one more, just the
Yep.
burning. I mean, there are times we do allow burning, correct?
Yes, so again, that's going to be specific to the IC, so that's just a brief description. So it's, I believe, is it unsafe burning?
Unlawful.
Unlawful, okay. So there's a definition, so that's just the title of that IC code. Our officers are going to be responsible for looking that up to make sure that that unlawful burning meets that violation, okay? So that's just a quick, like, oh, this is it, we can check it, and then we can move forward.
So in other words, if we're not in a burn barrel and they don't have the grade over covering it, that's your open burn.
I have a question for Dale. Do we need to specify exemptions for emergency vehicles, things of that nature, in the official line of duty inside of this?
You don't need to do that inside this particular ordinance, because in a state of emergency, something like that, law enforcement responding to a call, emergency call, then these ordinances would not apply.
I did have one, e-bikes, is e-bikes on there?
Yes, I believe so. That's under the bicycle, so it's a whole nother, remember when I said more problem when there was two other ones? Moving violations is something we're working on currently with bicycles. Yes, that is currently an IC code violation that we can cite, so we can still enforce it. But we're currently in the process of working on seeing how we can transition that into an ordinance violation without breaking some rules.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Good work. Thank you, Deputy Chief.
No problem.
Any comments from anyone on the public tonight? If not, we'll have the public hearing close on ordinance 2026-1915. The council will reconvene under new businesses. We have the first reading of ordinance 2026-1915, amendment to chapter 78, vehicle stopping, standing, and parking. Mr. Coffey, you want to explain the options this evening?
Yeah, so this is your first read introduction to the ordinance. Unless there's unanimous consent to suspend the rules, this will be placed on the agenda in 2 weeks for second reading and consideration.
Now, council, I have a quick question in regards to the section 78-184, paragraph A. Do we need to throw an amendment in to include parking on the sidewalk? Because nowhere in there I was able to find sidewalk stated specifically?
Yeah, we have a separate traffic section already in our municipal code about parking on sidewalks.
Okay.
So this was one that we just didn't have a clear definition of parking against the flow of traffic or on the wrong side of the street.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this will be on the agenda of the next meeting for the second reading. We also have first reading of ordinance 2026-1916, rezoning of property. Mr. Coffey.
So you have before you tonight 2026-1916. This is for rezoning of property commonly located at 2009 Burton Lane here in Martinsville. This came before the Plan Commission at its April 28, 2026 meeting. It was recommended by the Plan Commission that the City Council rezone this property from its current zoning of B1 to R2. And the plan is to convert this back to residential with possibly a duplex. So that's what you have before you tonight. I believe we have Mr. Britton here on behalf of the applicant for any questions you may have. And I think the applicant's also here as well for your consideration.
Any questions? Again, this is just the first reading on this. If there's no questions or comments, we'll place it on the next meeting agenda for the second reading. Next item is the first reading of ordinance 2026-1917, rezoning of some property. Mr. Coffey.
Come on up. We have a representative from the applicant here this evening, so we'll go ahead and let him talk and introduce this. This again also was on the April 28, 2026 Plan Commission docket. It did receive a favorable recommendation to the City Council for rezoning. Mr. Boucher, go ahead.
Again, for the record, my name is Kevin Buckheit. I'm a land planner with the law firm Creek DeVault in their Carmel, Indiana office. You probably got all this information in front of you, and for the sake of time tonight, would simply ask for your approval of this, and if possible, suspend the rules so that we can move on with the next steps that need to follow so this site can be developed. We'll be available for any questions.
Was any signage put out in regards to this for the public?
It was before the Plan Commission, and they generally put a sign on the actual location, the real estate, that has a little yellow sign that says it's for consideration. It was also in the newspaper, and adjoining landowners do get notified pursuant to our ordinance.
Okay, I just don't remember seeing any signage. And then, and one of my constituents also brought that up. We didn't see any signage for this.
What's the address? What's the property?
The address, there are two parcels at the southeast corner. The north parcel does not have address because there's nothing constructed on it. The south parcel is 1139 South Ohio Street. So it's at the southeast corner of the intersection of Ohio and South Streets.
It's the corner there, 4 bare feet.
Okay.
Right, that corner.
So what's the nearest business?
The nearest business is probably the industry to the east. There's a
4 bare feet.
4 bare feet. And then not too far to the east on South Street, there are more businesses there. South on Ohio Street, you're just a handful of blocks from the commercial area that leads into the interchange with I-69.
Understanding you're going to take the corner lot, then take the house to the south and tear it down, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
The other two components of this whole project that the Plan Commission considered was, one, to take Lot 3, the north lot, out of the 4 bare foot minor subdivision plat so that it can be incorporated into a new minor plat with the other lot, create one new legal description, one whole complete parcel for the development of Grain Credit Union.
Cleaner description. So again, this is just the first reading. The gentleman has asked for you to suspend the rules So we only do that if you deem it's an emergency to do so. If you don't deem that necessary, then the second reading would be on our next meeting, which is June 8th. Is that correct, Mac?
Correct.
June 8th.
Councilwoman Lewis, did you have a question? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
No, I was just asking for clarity on which property. I thought I knew who used to live there, so.
I have maps if you want to look at them.
Excuse me.
Would a map help?
No, he
Okay.
talked.
Okay.
Could I see the map, please?
Yes.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Is, Dale, on this property here, if we're going business, this question, do we have, is the frontage good for entrance and exit there? It's right there at that corner, and when you turn to go eastbound, you're in that turn lane, going on to South Street as well as for bare feet. And South Street, you're just right there as you're coming up on there. Do we know the plans or how that's going to work with whatever's being proposed, being put there?
Yeah, you may have, be passing out there, the plat was a separate action at the Plan Commission that obviously it's just the Plan Commission deciding on the plat, but the plat did show the drawing here where the layout, where they look at the entrances, comings and goings onto what street, so hopefully that will answer your question.
And for clarification, this is for a duplex, potential duplex?
No.
No, business.
Oh,
It's
gotcha.
the business.
Crane Credit Union.
Crane Credit Union, yeah.
So you have one entrance on Ohio Street, one entrance on South Street, in and out both directions.
Yes, sir. And that's a preliminary plan. That was, the ordinance was taken into consideration in drafting that plan. It'll be refined as we get to the final civil drawings.
I personally, not that I'm against it, I think I'd like to go to second reading, because I'd just like to look at it a little more, because on South Street, I just worry about the traffic flow there, of being able to go left and right, crossing your lanes there, and I just want to take a look at that setback on Ohio Street, South Street.
So the general consensus is let's put this on the agenda for June 8th. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have the second reading and consideration of ordinance 2026-1914, repealing Chapter 18, the peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants. Mr. Coffin.
So this is your second reading. We introduced this 2 weeks ago. This was at the request of the council to repeal the current ordinance as it's no longer applicable for our city. So that's what you have for you tonight for a second reading and consideration of a vote.
Can we go ahead and make a motion? Okay. I make a motion that we accept the ordinance number 2026-1914 for repealing the peddlers, solicitors, and transit merchants.
Second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
We got you.
yeah.
Motion made and seconded to repeal Chapter 18, with ordinance 2026-1914. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Can I ask a question real quick now? Will the city somewhere or another let people know that if they do not want peddlers, they should get a sign posted on their front door, back door, wherever it's most likely needed?
I'll work with Mr. Porter to see if I can get something. Okay. Mrs. Williams, are you prepared to do the tax abatements since Mr. Merritt is available?
Sure. What you have before you is a consideration of compliance of statement of benefits. Mr. Merida is in favor of it. The retreat at Mineral Springs, it was on your paperwork in front of you, and so he is in favor, so we're asking for your approval. I can list the addresses: 110 West Washington Street, 110 North Main Street, and 265 West Harrison Street.
And Mr. Coffey, I'm going to assume we have to take each one of these individual again?
That's correct.
I make a motion that we approve consideration of compliance statement of benefits for 110 West Washington Street.
Second.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the statement of benefits for 110 West Washington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I make a motion we can approve the compliance statement of benefits for 110 North Main Street.
Second.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the benefits for 110 North Main Street. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I make a motion we approve compliance statement of benefits for 265 West Harrison Street.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the statement of benefits for 265 West Harrison Street. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Judge Terrell?
Thank you. All right. The court has in front of you tonight a request for appropriation of funds for the new audio recording system that the court is hoping to use. Right now, we use a handheld tape recorder, and as you can imagine, that gets a little difficult. We are way behind with the times as far as uploading transcripts and things like that, so we've sought out a couple different companies, and the one that seems to be the most reasonable for, as you would say, the most bang for your buck is WSI Technologies, and I've got a representative here with me, if you want to come up. We have talked back and forth with Christy about what she can offer us, and we are trying to be reasonable in our request. There is an opportunity for us to, at some point, use, basically what it does is it uses the equipment we already have, which is what we were really trying to find somebody to help us do. Use the microphones you have here, the speakers, the sound system, and just kind of integrate that. And so Christy was able to get us a much reduced rate using the equipment we have for us to get cloud storage for all of our court reporting. Pursuant to Indiana code, we have to, well, the trial rule, we have to have our records audibly recorded and held, and the Indiana Judicial Retention Schedule requires us to have our cases retained for anywhere from 3 to 20 years. As you can imagine, we've got some people who still have outstanding tickets from like the 80s back in boxes there. And so if we don't resolve a case, we have to hold the whole record until it gets resolved. So this would be a great way for us to do that and not have to backload our computer, buy a bunch of external hard drives to have the full audio of bench trials and everything. The county has used this system before, and the great thing about this system is we've talked to Andy Merida, and he can help us get it set up where there's one step between us taking the audio from here and getting it to a cloud-based system. The more expensive route was a direct-to-cloud system. That was about $10,000. We opted to not do that. We're fully capable of adding one extra step to save a significant amount of money. But as you can see on your quote here, there is an annual fee of $2,200, and that will be required for 3 years, and then we will own the software. But the whole quote amount is this $48.34 at the bottom of this quote you have in your packet, and then we will have to pay Mr. Ferguson $300, the person who implemented this system, so that we can kind of integrate them all. I'm going to let Christy kind of talk to you. She's the expert here. But ultimately, I think we have to have this pursuant to the code. We've tried to be reasonable and talk to other folks. This seems to be the best option. And we're asking that it come from the Record Perpetuation Fund. This record fund is funds that the court already generates, and it's fully funded by the court, and it's for the purpose of keeping records. That is the entire basis for why we have that fund. It can supplement salaries, it can do some of those things, and I do believe it does in fact supplement some of our salaries, but the main purpose is that it would be used for case management and storage. And if you want to write that code site down, it's Indiana Code 33375-2 that establishes the fund, and then town court or city court clerk has the ability to use that fund for things such as this. So Christy, you can add to what I missed.
Thank you. So I represent WSI Technologies. I'm from Indianapolis. My dad started this company in 1977 when tapes were prevalent and used everywhere in law enforcement, 911, courts. Our company handles 280 out of the 300 trial courts in the state of Indiana, including city courts such as Mooresville, Bloomington, all of the city courts around Marion County. We handle the 911 for Morgan County. We have our technology. You may be familiar with iRecord for law enforcement, for police interrogation. And so we would love to welcome you into our court market customer. We did put together one quote. Amy called and wanted to know what it would take to put in this type of technology, which has been out for 20 years now. So Judge Grace has been doing a great job with tape recorders, especially as a new judge, and knows that there are better ways to do things. So I came on site, took a look at what was already in the room, and we can use these microphones because those were ones that I quoted originally. So we spoke with your computer person or your AV person, had a phone call with him and asked him if we could use these. And the plan is to, you have a mixer down there in the rack to the left of you, sir. And we'll come out of that and we'll go into our equipment, and then Judge can record from software that will be on her computer. There is a free playback software that she'll be able to use. And then we've also had conversations with your city IT person about storing all these for her so she can get rid of the tapes. Any questions?
Would the court still have access to the storage and software if the maintenance wasn't continued?
Oh, yes. It's yours.
Okay.
Yeah. And I talked to your IT person to see where it'll be stored on your network. We do have an option for cloud storage, so it can be stored in the cloud.
So it's stored on our network?
Yeah. And then we'll talk, because when he and I spoke, we talked about, I think he has a cloud plan where he maybe sends it to the cloud after a certain period of time. So we talked about keeping our eye on that, keep it here for a while, and then move it off, and then the court will have the ability to access it at no charge to us.
So that was my concern, was that we have a second place for storage for the backup purposes.
Yeah, Ian's taking care of that for us. I mean, I told him the intent was that for everything to eventually be on the cloud. It's just, if we want it direct to cloud, that's a $10,000 ask, and I believe is that per year, and rather than $2,200 per year. So Andy said it was no big issue to take that extra step to save that amount of money. Obviously, that would probably be easier, and I think there's a couple other things that come with that software package. But for the volume we're doing right now, trying to be conscientious of the dollars, I think we can make this one work.
And our offsite is a secure location then?
I'm sorry.
The offsite?
Yes.
Versus off.
Yes, and only court staff has access to that pursuant to code. And so I think the total is 5134.76 that we're asking for. Again, that fund is already supposed to be used for these type of things, and I don't have the current dollar with me today, Stacy, you
There's
may,
money
but
in there.
there's like
Yes, ma'am.
$165,000+ in there, so we're not short on that for this type of a request. So
Judge Terrell, thank you for your due diligence with finding someone, less expensive. My only question is, Mr. Coffey, was this not supposed to have been sent out like for a bid?
No, the dollar amount is under $25,000, so it clearly is under that. And then like the judge said, they have money in their fund that they'd like to use for that. So the requirements were not triggered to put out for bid.
I would know, and Amy can speak to that. She talked to 3 or 4 people, and that's why she's here tonight too. If you have interest in hearing what those quotes were, there was one that was maybe a little cheaper, but it didn't offer the cloud storage. So for us, that's really a non-starter because that's kind of what we're already doing. And then there was another one that was more expensive, but she can speak to those if you would like to hear her. We have 3 or 4 in the file just in case anybody ever wanted to see. We didn't just pick our buddy, and quite frankly, I didn't know Christie before this.
It sounds like you've sourced the best ones.
Yes, we papered up as far as just trying to get other options too, so.
Would there be any savings or benefits to paying, instead of doing it for 3 years, paying it all up at once? I mean, would you save any money by not?
So there is a option, there's an option called a perpetual license, which means that you own that license, and that is about $3,600, a flat fee, and then you pay it one time, but it doesn't come with updates for software, for version updates. So if you do the subscription, it comes with every single update that you would need. This company was also recently acquired by Tyler Technologies for $280 million, and Tyler Technologies is the company that has the Odyssey case management that the court uses. So once that has upgrades, the recording software can be upgraded in tandem without you having to pay extra. You don't even have to go through our company for support. That fee even includes help desk included on that $2,100 a year through the courtroom recording company, FTR.
Which help desk is who we use for all of our court questions. So the fact that Tyler just acquired that company is huge for us, because Tyler's how you look up people on my case and how you do all of that.
So will the updates continue after the 3 years, or?
At the end of 3 years, you can own it, and then you could pay a fee. I don't know what that'll be. My guess is it's going to be around $800 a year to continue that. Or you could continue to do the subscription, but who knows what will be here in 3 years. So we can go for 3 years and then reevaluate, see what the court wants to do. Maybe there's something different, maybe there's something better. I don't know that there would be, but maybe there's something within Odyssey then at that point, where you could just record within Odyssey. But we'll see. But at least this will get rid of tapes. And if you want to use it, I don't know if the council wants to use it, but we could probably set it up in a way where it would be available to you to use as well. And what it does is it does multi-channel recording. So all these microphones, the courts need multi-channel recording, so all the microphones are on a separate channel instead of everything coming through together in one recording. So if Judge Grace wants to hear what the witness is saying, she can pull up free software in her office, press play, click the witness button, and it filters out all the other microphones so she can hear exactly what the witness is saying. So we could set that up for you too if you wanted to use it.
And this will help our courts with transcription and things like that. You can pay for automatic transcription. That's not part of the software that we're using. But at some point, if we end up, I mean, we have a couple bench trials every single week, it seems. If some point our volume gets to the point where we're having more than 2 or 3 bench trials and people are asking for their transcripts, we'll already be able to go to Christie and say, hey, we need transcripts rather than paying a person to sit there and type. It's going to be generated on this type of software. So it just allows us to keep up with the times and work more efficiently in the future. Again, we're not asking for that subscription today, but it gives us the opportunity should we need it.
Do you know how much that subscription would look like if we were to do that as well?
Yeah. So $3,600 a year. And then I had a customer, it was actually up in Hamilton County, and they were typing all the city council, all the minutes verbatim, and I said, why? And they said, I don't know, just because that's what we do, we type them all verbatim. So they were able to use that technology to automatically generate verbatim proceedings from the whole city council chambers. Then they used fancy Microsoft Copilot, and they were so excited when they called me They took their recording and put it in Microsoft Copilot and automatically put it in the right format for their minutes, and they were done. So there are some things that the city council can do if you need to.
Can you explain to them, because they may be interested in why we took off that 10,000?
Yes.
That's the one I was
Oh,
alluding to.
so the $10,000, that one, it's not a separate recording license. It includes the real-time transcript. It includes the recording technology. The court would go to www. They'd have their own website that they go to. No, it's not a website. It's your website. It's part of FTR, which stands for the record. They would click record, just as if you were recording something with your phone. And then it records. We still have all the microphones in the courtroom that we would use. We have the mixers that we would use, and it starts recording it automatically to the cloud. So it's no longer down here. You can back it up down here if you wanted to, but then the transcript is automatically generated at the same time, real time. So if you had other people who you wanted to be able to listen real time, prosecutor's office, anybody else who wanted to listen in live, we could do that. They could follow along real time with a verbatim transcript as the recording's going on right here. And it even would allow you to have court anywhere else if you had to, with little portable microphones if we had to do that.
And you can see, we're not asking for that.
No, we
But
took
that
that.
might be something to consider if the council would ever want something like that. We can do a one-stop shop and save the city some money by using this system. So just for your consideration in the future, if it becomes burdensome to, if we have to transcribe these or anything like that, it might be worth it in the future, but it's nice to just get started with kind of a more basic plan and see what we need as we go.
But tonight you're asking for $51,3476?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
How much again?
$5,134.76.
That's the first quote plus the second quote for Brad.
And we have plenty in their fund.
Yes, sir.
I'll make the motion to approve the additional appropriation of $5,134.76 for the city court recording system.
Jonathan Collier was second.
Motion made and seconded to approve for the additional appropriation for the city court recording system, which will be $4,834.76 for WSI Technology and $300 for Brad Ferguson. And then that will include a $2,200 per year for the next 2 years maintenance on subscription for the system. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any comments from the council this evening?
I again would like to thank the street department for cleaning up all those branches that we had, when was it, a week ago, 10 days ago. We had all those branches that came down. Thank you very much for all that cleanup. I know it was a lot of broken branches and such.
I have a quick one. Today I had to travel outside of Martinsville and use roundabouts, which I do not like, I will admit. I got honked at 2 different times in 2 different roundabouts. But why I'm saying all that is because to me it was rude of the people that travel through them all the time at high speeds to know where they're going, and I didn't know where I was going. But we have the same problem downtown without roundabouts. People trying to back out of angled parking spaces and people rushing up to a red light and not letting them out. It doesn't take that long to let someone get out in front of you to go to a red light where you're going to wait anyway. If we just ask the citizens of Martinsville to be patient, be courteous, and allow other people to get out of parking spaces, because someone behind them may want to use the parking spot that is becoming empty.
Good observation.
I would like to say that I do have reservations about weed control, but I will say the roundabout looks nice with the mulch and the flowers and trees put in there. And in case anyone else was wondering, I inquired about the trees. I was a little concerned about those trees being planted by the concrete for roots to bust it up as it grows, but from my understanding, those trees are designed, their roots go down and not out. So just
They're redwoods,
yes.
They don't have extending roots, they have
Tap roots.
Tap roots.
So I would like to say it does look nice.
Did the problem get resolved at the transfer station with the emergency?
Mr. Dunn?
Mac,
You-
question.
On our transfer station, we're maybe Friday before it gets fixed?
Be next week.
Be next week.
What was the issue specifically?
The cylinder, it's our compactor, the main cylinder blew.
The blue side of the cylinder?
It's a very difficult piece we're gonna try to repair it. If that doesn't work, we have to get a new one. So we're down until at least Monday of next week. We're working on it. It'll be when it's gonna be.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public this evening? If not, due to a just discovered conflict, today we are moving the budget workshop that was scheduled for Saturday the 20th to Saturday, June 13th, 8 o'clock here in the council chambers. Again, the workshop's open to the public, but no public comment will be received during the workshop. Next regular meeting is Monday, June 8th, 2026, 7 o'clock here in the chambers. We are adjourned.
Mac, have you already sent out the, on our email, have you sent out an invite on that?
I'm sorry?
Have you already sent out the invite on that date on email?
There's a calendar you might send out, and when I look at my desk, I'll send out.
Okay, I'm gonna wait on that. Thank you.
Hey, council members, the budget. It was just, it wasn't every signature needed. But I want to let you guys know that Ben will have the budget books ready. On Friday, he'll send out an email reminder to let you know about it.
Joel filled me in on the whole fiasco Sunday, trying to meet people. But that was a great. Yeah. Yeah.